again, wig stylists, and welcome to our custom wig part tutorial. This tutorial is for making parts by using wefts. I will first be demonstrating on a chibi. The bangs on this wig are in a triangular shape, and I'm going to alter it so the part goes straight across. Figure out where you'd like your part or parts to be and divide the wig hair using your fingers or the end tip of a comb. Use heat from a blow dryer to tame the hair in each direction. Our wigs are heat resistant up to 420 degrees. If you have a non-heat resistant wig, you will need to do a test on an unnoticeable section first to make sure the fiber is not going to frizz or melt. What we're going to do is essentially the same technique our factory uses to separate the bangs from the hair going into the pigtails. A few rows of wefts are sewn really close together and then they're ironed backwards. This is optional, but I'm first going to measure the sections where I like to create parts. I've got a 2.5 inch section along the top and then a 7 inch section across the bangs. This is a pack of wefts from our website. When unfolded, the weft is about 8 feet wide. Since I measured what I needed already, I can cut the pieces I need without unfolding the whole thing, which means less tangling. For the 2.5 inch part, I'm just using 2 weft pieces on each side, though you might increase the number to 3 or 4 if you're working with a lighter color or if the spot you're adding wefts to is a little thin. I'm going to sew the first weft pretty close to the middle, leaving enough room for the second weft to be more in the center, which you will see in the next step. Stitch it as tightly as possible. Sew the second weft right below the first weft. Stitch it as tightly as possible. Make sure the width of the second, third, or fourth wefts do not exceed the width of the first one. If you're making a part that goes to the front hairline of a wig, you can either fold the ends of the wefts over the edge of the wig or fold them a tiny bit backwards to keep raw edges from showing at the front hairline. Now I can bring the fiber to the opposite side and set the fold with heat from a hairdryer. Time for the other side. Just like before, the hair is initially going the opposite direction. I'll want the wefts to be as close to the center as possible without being right on top of each other or on top of the opposite side of the part. Once sewn, it's time to iron them over with heat. Afterwards, I'll be sewing wefts along the front for the 7 inch part. Since there's already a lot of wefts in the bangs, I'm just going to be making the top half of this part, but I'll be using 4 rows of wefts instead of 2. Here, the 4 rows of wefts have been sewn and are ready to be ironed over. However, if I part the wefts in the center and fold them over, notice how the tops of the wefts show in the middle? There's a simple trick to hide this. Take a very small section from the center of the top 2 layers of wefts and divide it into 2 pieces. Crisscross those pieces and then pull up the rest of the hair on each respective side and iron them with heat. The same process can be used to make pigtail parts on a non-pigtail wig. However, since the back of a wig is where the most stretch is, I highly recommend doing this on a wig head that matches your head size. There's a link to a custom wig head tutorial in the video info box below. I highly recommend making one, otherwise your wig may not fit after the part has been installed. A lot of wigs aren't going to have a solid piece down the back to sew wefts onto, so what you want to do is use a piece of fabric, bias tape, or a ribbon in a similar color to the wig and sew your wefts to that first. I recommend using 4 rows of wefts on each side. Like before, start a little off-center and leave enough room so that the 4th weft is at the center. Once the wefts have been sewn, you can iron them over with heat from a hairdryer or flat iron. I found it a bit easier to pin the bias tape to a styrofoam surface while I did this. Repeat on the other side. Pins will be your best friend. This part is now ready to be installed into a wig. You can trim or fold the excess fabric under so it won't show or be in the way. If you sew the part in place, just be sure to catch the wefts along each side as you go. Since I've already ironed the part though, I can just glue it if I want. Fabric glue and hot glue will work just fine. And that's how you can make a part using wefts. Thanks for watching!